All right, guys. Welcome to today's presentation. Yeah, I hope everything is working fine and you guys can see me. I hope so. Right. So, today. Oh, okay. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. I believe this is working. Check sound. Check. 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 All right. So, guys. Good morning, everyone. My name is Precious Ngwube, and I am the community manager at Tublian, and then also at the same time I double as the community manager for Enyata. Um, Enyata is a software development company in Nigeria that build tools and softwares that help developers that build tools and softwares for organizations, banks, governments, and industries. While Tublian is an AI focused developer platform that helps developers that develop AI tools that help developers to, 10x their career and become the better developers, and at the same time gain visibility while doing it. So, anyways, today we are going to talk about how to build your developer career using AI. Right? AI is here to stay. We all know about AI. ChatGPT is part of my personal everyday life now. And then what we are going to look at today is, as a developer, as a newbie coming into tech, how are you going to leverage this technology to make life easier for yourself? Right? So that's what we're going to get into today. I'll probably tell some stories if there is need for, because I had like a crazy shift coming into tech for myself, and I believe some of you are probably going through this stage or might have gone through this stage or at the current phase in this stage. So we're going to look like a whole phase where we are going to look like phases that you go through as a developer trying to build your career is and how AI can help you navigate all those hurdles, right? So this is the table of contents. We'll be dealing with AI and the future of software development. We'll be talking about developer career life cycle. And we'll go through those life cycle and we'll look at what AI tools and how AI tools can help you do at every stage of that life cycle, right? And then we'll be doing a little introduction to Tublian, just the tools that you need to know, not everything, just the tools that you need to know to get started in using the platform. All right. So let's get right into it, guys. So my name is Precious Ngwube, and like I said, I am the community manager at Tublian and then at Tenyata. And I am passionate about building communities because community has helped me. Community is how I got into tech. Community is the reason why I'm doing anything that I'm doing today. I'm passionate about it, and I'm grateful to God I have opportunity to build communities, support developers, and support almost like everybody or anybody that wants to get into tech. I'm also a village boy. Um, I'm a village boy from a very small village, and I try to help newbies navigate their steps because it's also not easy. So you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on LinkedIn. These are the ones I'm proud to share. Other ones, if you find me there. All right. So building your developer career using AI. So as a developer, what does it mean to build your career? What are the stages involved in building your career? These are the things that we're going to look out to today. And then we're going to look at how to use AI in navigating those stages. And it's going to be hopefully a small, short talk if I don't over talk. And then we'll get to learn a lot. So, so let's talk about AI. And why should you as a developer care about AI in 2024? All right. So, artificial intelligence, as we all know, is the process simulation of human intelligent processes by machines, particularly computer systems. For example, we have ChatGPT. Now, those processes include the acquisition of information and rules for using the information. Reasoning, because when we give it an information, it tries to make sense of the information and also give us something that is, you know, reasonable. Self correction. Now, for these things to work, there are also other parts of AI, and some of the other parts of AI are things like machine learning. We have natural language processing. We have robotics, computer vision. For example, if you use iPhone here, you want to open your iPhone, even if it's at night, you put it on your face, it unlocks. That is some cutting edge technology going on there, and I know that because I've worked with computer vision and I've worked with artificial intelligence for Open CV and all those things, and I really know the kind of technology and what's going on the hood to make that possible, right? So, and all these things are all AI systems working or that we use in our lives every day. Now, ChatGPT is the biggest thing of 20, is one of the biggest biggest invention in the past 5 years. Everybody's using ChatGPT. I use it every day. You use it every day. Now, how does ChatGPT explain or give us a whole insight on how AI works? Now, for example, I want to write an email. I go to ChatGPT and I say, hey, the way I use it, which is the way it works very effectively for me, is I type all the nonsense I have in my head and I say, please kindly help me edit this and then give me the correct, give me an edited version of this. And then it goes on to give me this very beautiful edit, right? So in this place, what's happening is that I gave it an information, it learned from that information, and I was able to process that information and give me a reasonable response. That is what happens there. So, right? So, let's look at other parts of AI in details. So, machine learning, it is a subset that involves training algorithms to learn patterns and take decisions from data. And then we have supervised learning, and we have supervised learning, and we have reinforcement learning. So, um, I don't want to go into the technicalities because that's not what this course covers. That's not what this session today is supposed to cover. But then we have machine learning is where we feed an information to a particular algorithm, and then algorithm makes sense of that information, and will be able to process and give us informations, right? And then we can train this algorithm using different models. We can use supervised learning. We can use unsupervised learning. Now, natural language processing (NLP). This enables machines to understand, interpret, and respond to human languages in a meaningful way. Example, your Bard, Gemini or Bard, and then we have ChatGPT. Now we have robotics and computer vision. We hinted on that before when we talked about where, robots these days, we haven't seen some robots. I mean, living in Nigeria, I don't think I will say I see robots every day. But then, um, robotics is also something because I studied mechatronics engineering in school. So robotics was something I dealt with almost every day for 7 6 7 years that I spent in school learning mechatronics. So if you go to the industry, you have robotic arms that are picking up things and dropping it here. You go to some places, you see robots that are, humanoids that are trying to do some kind of, but those ones are a little bit advanced. But then it's the same basic principle that is working on all of them. So for the robotics, you already have the machine part, you already have the engineering, the body, the hand part. But then what is still happening is still everything that is happening with machine learning, the supervised learning and the unsupervised learning, because you have to train it and tell it, oh, okay, when you see obstacle, do this, avoid it, or do this at this point, or pick this from here, drop it at point B. This is how many meters you're supposed to go. It is the same principle working on the hood for everything. You have to train the model, and then the model now makes sense out of what you've already given to it. If you remember computer that we did in basic school, we said garbage in, garbage out. Input, output. So it's basic. Now let's talk about language. So NLP, natural language processing, are those type of AI where the the um, the AI, the machine, the AI, the software can be able to respond to you. So when you say something, you say, "Oh, I am sad." It's asking you, "Why are you sad?" Or what do you think is making you sad today, right? So he's trying to talk to you as if you're a human being. I mean, if you go to your WhatsApp, there is meta symbol. Once you tap on it and tell it, oh, I'm hungry, what do you think I should eat? I'm currently in Nigeria. I'm sure it's going to suggest some food for you, right? But then these things, we need to also understand that these things are not humans. They are robots and they are not emotional. Most times their focus is just to make you, to give you right information, and they can overdo it sometimes. So let's get into other things. So now let's talk. Let's get on to software development. Software development, as we all know it, is the process of building software. Software can be a website, it can be an app, it can even be an AI, right? So, and there are so many models now, and I didn't put that in my slide. Oh, okay. But there are so many models that you can use to build your own personal AI, and that is also a process of software development. We have Llama 3, we have LLM, the one from ChatGPT, from OpenAI, which is the company that built ChatGPT. We have LLM 3, we have Llama 3, and we have most of those models, right? You guys can check them out. Check out, you can just Google um, AI models, right? And then some of these models they have like a sandbox where you can play. You have like an array of data. You just put it in, and then you practice what you are. You practice what you're talking about, so you can build your own chat GPT and then see how it works. I mean, these things are not so hard. I mean, if you have the right information. So, but then generally on software development, because I know most of the people here might just be web developers or app developers. How does AI affect the process? So, guys, um, I think it was last year there was this huge buzz about prompt engineering. So, what does prompt engineering mean? Prompt engineering means that I, as Precious, who used to be a software developer, but has not written a single line of code in the past 1 year. But I understand what code works and then how to put it and where to place it. What I can do is to go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT that, oh, I'm trying to build a particular software that looks like this. I get my software requirement and I feed it to ChatGPT and I tell it to ask me questions if it's confused at any point. And what happens is that it gives me results. It's telling me, oh, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. This is the code that you need. This is what you're supposed to do at this point. And that's like code generation and that's the assistant. And these things you can do it yourself on with ChatGPT. You can do it anyway, you can do it now as we are having this conversation, right? So you can go to ChatGPT and tell it, oh, I'm trying to build a to-do app using JavaScript. Can you help me recommend? Can you help me generate the code? And then you can tell it that, oh, I want it to be in JavaScript. I want it to give me the front end and then give me the back end and tell me how to connect it. These are prompts. And you're also going to tell it that, oh, okay, you can even go as far as specifying the details. Oh, have it font. I want to have delete button. I want to have edit button and you give it the prompt and it's going to generate the code for you and you can even tell it to show you how to connect the code when you go to your VS Code. It's going to give you those steps, those processes. So what does this mean? This means that in the future we are going to have more people who can be able to just prompt these tools and create softwares. So we are going to have a doctor who sits in his office and is feeling like, oh, this thing should be solved, this problem should be solved using software. And what he does is goes to ChatGPT, prompt it with the right prompt, and then he's going to have good code. ChatGPT or AI is going to generate a good code for him to be able to build our software, right? So we have personalized learning and development. For example, if you are on Tublian, you should probably know about 80/20, right? If you've come across our platform before. So now what does this tool does is going to help you to generate a roadmap for you to learn. So for example, some people that are still learning here, you don't know where do I start, you are confused. Oh, should I do back-end development? Should I do front-end? Should I do data analysis? Oh, AI is popping. Should I learn how to build AI models? Or should I learn Python? Where do I start? You can simply prompt AI. I mean, I'm probably at the end of this session, I'm going to show you a demo to show you how you can do these things easily. So we also have bug detection and fixing, and then you can give it a piece of code and say, oh, this code is not working fine. How do I fix it? And then it's going to show you step by step process. It's going to even first show you what is wrong with the code, and then it's going to show you what you're supposed to do to make the code work or how you're going to fix that problem. All right, let's get into developer career life cycle. So, as a developer, as a newbie, as anybody who is in developer, there are stages in development. There are stages in your career that you experience. So, I think this is the part where I tell my stories, guys. So, when I started in tech, I started as a community manager. No, I didn't start as a community manager. I started as a software engineer, as a developer, and then as a developer, I was um, As a developer, I was coding. Um, I was building. I was building softwares. I was, in fact, writing Java programming language. I was building app using Java programming language. I was lucky to find a community called Andela Learning Community at the time, and that community helped me to um, figure out how to navigate most part of my career. I was in school. I went to Alex Ekpome Federal University. So I saw this community in Lagos, but then by the time I went back to school, there was no community again in my school in Ebonyi State. So I had to build my own community, right? So that community has metamorphosed to becoming Google community, Microsoft community, Genesis Tech Hub community, and all those things. Now, as a developer in my own career, I've gone through so many stages. Maybe we should get to it. I've gone through the starting and transition stage. So during the first part of my career, the first phase of my career, I was first of all confused, right? When I was in my starting and transitioning phase, I was very confused and I didn't even know what to do or where to start, what interest to go into. Like I said, I started from coding apps using Java, right? Now, after some time, I had issues and I had to say, oh, okay, this is not working for me so well. I had to quickly switch back into um, after a while, I got an internship at Genesis Tech Hub and where I wrote JavaScript. I started learning JavaScript. So I learned JavaScript. I learned front end development. I learned React. I started building websites using React. And that was when I started finding fulfillment, really doing this tech thing. But then after that phase, after start knowing how to write softwares in JavaScript and all those things, I also had issues because the next phase was the phase where I was supposed to build with people, build personal projects, which was what I did, and then it worked for me. And then I had to move quickly to the contribution phase where I started doing things around open source. I really don't do open source at much at the time, but I volunteered a lot, which is what actually led me to where I am today, which is where I am now as a community manager. Because during my volunteer phase, I was able to understand, how to bring people together, how to make it work, and why you should even bring people together. And that is how I transitioned into becoming a community manager. In fact, funny story, I saw a job, I thought it was volunteer role, I applied, and then they said, oh, you can come, this is your contract. Do you mind signing it? And I'm like, okay, why are we signing contract? Is it paid? And they said, we are going to pay you 50,000. And I was like, oh, okay. I was looking for front end developer job and I saw a community manager job that offered to pay me 50K. I took it and that was how I got into community management. And since then, I've been building community. This was like 2021. Okay, now these are the five phases that you go through as a software developer. Some months ago, Hack Sultan shared on his Twitter this video where he talked about phases that you go to discover what you want to be or what you want to learn in tech, right? And then one of the phases that really stood out for me is these two phases that I used in the starting and the transitioning phase. We called it the interest zone and the confusion zone. So, what is the interest zone? The interest zone is when you know that, oh, I want to do this tech. So, during my own journey, the first time I saw tech was when I visited the Andela headquarters in Lagos. I went there and immediately I entered the office, I told myself, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is the industry I want to work in, right? And then it really helped me because it helped me to be able to know, okay, this is my interest. I want to do tech. Now, we move to the next level. What is the next interest that I have to choose from? The next interest I had to choose from was, oh, should I learn front end, back end? Should I learn JavaScript? Should I learn Python? Where should I start? Now I have interest, but where should I start? Confusion comes in. Like I said, I first thing I wrote was Java. In fact, I was a time I think it was schoolwork. I was writing C++. It was crazy. Now, after this whole confusion stage, what happens at this stage is that because you have interest and because you are confused, you get to learn a lot of things, right? But then, so don't feel bad that, oh, I've written Python and I've dropped it, I've written this one, I've dropped it. Don't feel bad about it. Write it. A lot of people were confused during their own time too, right? So just write it and then do what you have to do, learn it. You don't like it, drop it. The goal is for you to fail as fast as you can, so that you move on to the next thing, right? Now, when you get to the learning phase, by the time you are done failing, right, and you're done with confusion and interest, you already know, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is how I want to do it. Sorry, you're going to move into the next phase, which is the learning phase. So what happens at this phase? You start learning, okay, now that I've chosen to learn front-end development using React, what are the core concepts, right? So, oh, okay, I need to understand HTML, understand CSS, understand core JavaScript, then I can move on to writing React. When I go to React, I need to understand state management, I need to understand, I need to understand child element, I need to understand how to move data around in React. You go in, you learn the core concepts. And at this time, you also need to learn the industry that you are in, learn the tech industry at large. Because one of the things that happen is that people come into tech and you don't understand tech, right? You are doing tech, but you don't really understand the industry that you are in. You don't understand the implications of Facebook laying off 30,000 people. The implication is that you as a newbie, you are looking for a job, and them too, they're applying for the same job that you're applying for. Someone that is coming from Facebook and you that you're just with your side project, who are they going to pick? Has implication, right? So if you need to understand these things, oh, okay, what do I need to do? How do I position myself? What communities do I need to join? Who are the right people I should talk to, right? What are even the right courses I should take? For example, you can be taking a course that was produced in 2009 and you are in 2023, right? You might be learning, like for example, when I was writing code, I never used Flute. I don't know how it works. When I was writing code, Flex and Grid were popping, and that was what we were using. In fact, Flex was my superpower. I understood Flex more than all my peers. So I could flex anything. Anything it is flex. I have my mobile screen from development, everything is ready. So you need to understand those concepts. You need to know what course to take. And you can even quit at this phase. Oh, let's say you are doing this thing. This one is not working for me, Jerry. Quit. Move on to the next thing. Right? Now, the next phase is building phase. This is where you build projects. This is where you talk about you build your personal brand. You want to build in public. You go online, you do 100 days of code, you do 30 days of code, you do you build your personal brand, you tweet telling people, oh, this is what I'm building today, this is what I learned today. You can even go on to do side projects. You can even go on to do side projects. You can even say, oh, okay, let me build this tool that helps me solve my own personal problem, right? So side project is also part of it. Now, this is where collaboration comes in. This one is very particular to me because as someone that started tech in the Southeast, collaboration wasn't something that was easily seen among us then, right? I mean, now we have people who we are all doing community at a time. Things like GDG, like this event, they're all doing so well right now. But then we didn't collaborate a lot when we were still learning. But then in this building phase, this is where you collaborate. This is where you come together with your friends and you say, "Oh, guys, let's put together an e-commerce website. You build the back end, I build the front end. Oh, this person is learning product development, bro. Come and teach us how product development work." What that's doing is that it gives you the real sense of building software. You feel like, oh, I'm actually a developer working in a company because you have Trello board, you have tasks, you have someone checking in with you. You guys are even doing stand up, right? Collaboration is very, very important. So you guys can decide to say, oh, okay, we know we don't have money to build a startup, but let's look at, oh, can we build a ride hailing services for Aba, right? People are coming into Aba to do market. Oh, can we build an app that helps people to locate a particular market or to know where to buy things? There is this very beautiful app I use in Lagos. It's called Lara.ng. It shows me how I can move from one bus stop, how I can move to or from one location to another location using public transport. Stuff like that. You come together, you build it. It's very, very important. Then move to the next phase, which is the contribution phase. This is where you now take, oh, okay, I know this skill, I've built myself. I mean, 4 and 5 can go hand in hand, right? But then in the contribution phase, that is where you now start thinking about open source because as a developer, you are not building for yourself or for your community alone, you're building for the globe, right? We all want to work for Facebook, we all want to work for Google. And for you to be able to do that is for you to be able to work with people that are from different parts of the world. And how what gives you that opportunity to work with people from different parts of the world is open source. So if you go, you get an open source project, you join open source communities, you see things you want to work on, you go in there, you look at the code base, you understand the code base, it also gives you an experience to learn how to, because when you go to a new company, right, you're not going to start doing npx create react app or yam create react app, right? You're going to start with contributing to a code base written by someone 6 years ago. And you're going to start saying, okay, how do what adjustment do we make? How do we add new features? And the best way for you to learn that is through open source, right? The other part of that phase is volunteering. I volunteered a lot. That was why I feel like that's part of the reason why I eventually became a community manager, because I was volunteering for everything. I will travel for events. I'll move from Ebonyi to Anambra, move from Anambra to Enugu, right? Volunteer is very important. Then the last of this phase is apply for jobs. Job application can be stressful, it can be a hassle, but how do we get across it? I mean, I'll show you guys tools that can help you to apply for jobs easily, any kind of job, and then even how you can get cold emails that you can use for the job application. Now, let's look at these phases and how AI can help you achieve each of these things that we talked about. Now, here I just listed the AIs that can help you do this, but then in your starting phase, you can decide to research using. In this phase, I recommend Gemini because it has access to internet, so it can help you make real-time decisions. Can help you say, oh, okay, this was popping now, this is where to start learning it. This is what you should learn. Just prompt it, have a conversation with it. I mean, it's way beyond this, but we are talking about AI. But you can also decide to talk to your friends. You can decide to talk to people in your circle. Say, "Oh, this is what I'm trying to learn." You can even decide to talk to me, right? Just chat me up or something. I'll respond to you, and then we have the conversation on how you want to learn or what you want to learn, and then it goes that like that. So now the learning phase. So I will demo 80/20 on this video, right? And show you how you can be able to learn um, how you can be able to generate roadmaps to learn anything that you want to learn using um, using 80/20 to learn anything at all that you want to learn. Now, building phase. So building phase is the point where you so for example, what are the app ideas that what are apps that I should build that will look good on my CV as a front end developer? AI can help you do that. It can help you solve that problem, right? So now, contribution phase. There are platforms like Get PCs, there are platforms like code GitHub code spaces, there are platforms like you know open source copilots on Tublian that can help you to discover open source projects that you want to contribute to. Then also you can use Gemini, not ChatGPT, but Gemini to discover jobs. You can use other platforms like Google Search, Google Jobs, and all those other platforms. But then Gemini and Jobs Copilot are like the two main guys for that. All right. Now, if you discover that at every phase you have an AI that you can use to get what you want to achieve in every phase, or there's an element of AI in every single phase of your software development life cycle. Now, let's talk about Tublian, which is where I'm going to, right? So Tublian is where I work, of course, and we have a lot of tools, and we are still developing more tools to help developers build a better career, right? Um, some of the tools that we are developing, for example, you guys know that some softwares that were written in 20, let's say in the year 2000, they were written in Visual Basics or Cobalt or all those old programming languages. And now we are looking at, oh, how do we maintain those code bases, right? AI, for example, what we need to do is just take those code base, give it to AI. AI learns what's happening in there, and then you can decide to create issues for us, and we can, you can create issues, create solutions to these issues, create a testing model for us to test that issue to make sure that it's working, and then it just keeps going like that. Creates a whole, it just become like a developer monitoring and maintaining your code base, right? So we are working on that, but that is not the trick. The trick is that every developer is going to become a solo corporation. We are going to become a single entity, a single, you know, big company producing softwares that everybody use. So you can be able to create, what's the biggest software ever? You can be able to create names, or you can be able to create a Zenith Bank software within let's say 3 or 4 days, right? With the help of AI. That is what we are talking about here. That is the future, and that is how we see AI, and that is how we see software development. Now, let me quickly do a quick demo on Tublian, and then we'll come back here and then we'll finish this. So, if you can see my screen, guys, this is Tublian website. See here, we are saying that we are redefining how software is built. Um, okay, trying to do this. So all you need to log into your Tublian account is your GitHub account. Just make sure you have your GitHub logged in. Once you're logged into your GitHub, we'll pull out the details from your GitHub. And there's so many interesting things that we can do here. The first thing is street cred. So I have a street cred number that shows that, oh, okay, um, there is Precious is has 18 points. I mean, I think last week I had like 11 points. I did some stuff, that's why I'm now up to 18. And then it goes on to show. I mean, this is built for employers, people who are looking to employ developers who they think are qualified, right? So our our model is saying that, oh, okay, if someone has a particular number that is high, which means that person is doing some stuff, contributing to open source and some other things. Now let's look at some of the AI tools that we talked about in your development career, right? So we talked about learning. So for learning, let's start with 80/20. So 80/20 is a is an AI generating tool that helps you to generate um, it helps you to generate roadmaps to study anything. For example, we are going to do a demo here. Let's say I am a front end developer. I know CSS and HTML, but this time I want I want to learn React, React.js. So it is going to start generating the roadmap for us. I mean, it's still loading. Now, I mean, this takes time because it's AI and then it's working on that hood to make sure that these things are working. So I'm a front-end developer. I know CSS and HTML, and I want to learn React. So what happens there is that it generates the course for me, teaching me from where I know. That is the thing. This learning is personalized because I already know HTML and CSS. So imagine you go and buy a course on Udemy or any of those platforms. You're going to start, or you start skipping some levels and then you will understand some things. But then this is taking you straight to the real deal, right? And because I am a premium feature user, I have some access to some things, right? So, anyways, this is what it starts with. So it's telling me, oh, introduction to React, understanding the basics of React and JSX, right? So React components and JSX, this is giving me articles and videos and everything on how I can learn these things. Right here we have sections, we have states and props. How do I pass states? State management, all those things. You have component life cycle. I mean, it's very interesting, right? And then not just that, at the end of the day, I have questions that I can answer and learn more about this particular thing. And I can even go straight from here to contributing to open source. And this is going to take me to the next thing that we want to talk about for today. So, I mean, from here, you have different phases. It generated a three-phase course for me. right? This is building interactive UI. This is where we start talking about building interactive UI, event handling, form control and components, um, fetching data from APIs. And this is like the most interesting part of React to me. Fetching data from API and displaying them, right? You have articles, you have access to doing all those things. Now, the next thing that we talked about was open source. No, 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 no. I think it's jobs. No, open source, contribution phase, right? In the contribution phase, we have open source. So, um, with the way we built this platform, you can make your first open source contribution in less than 10 minutes. All you need to do is to come here and click on get started and then start contributing to open source. But that's not what I want to show you that is way beyond that, way beyond you making your first open source contribution, right? So here I can say I want to contribute to an education open source project. I just hope you guys can see my screen during this demo. I really hope so. But if you cannot see it, you can ask me questions at the end and I'll be glad to clarify some of it. Right? So what happened was that it quickly gives me projects that has to do with education, that has to do with learning. Right? So are you guys seeing? So these are projects. I can decide to view issues going on a new tab. You see, I view that issues. And then there is also this other part. You see, look at the issues that are available. Learning app software, right? This is bugs. These are the issues that are opened by the maintainers of this project. They created this issue 9 days ago. All language and with their project. So let's open this. I'm opening this because I want to show you something. Then we'll go back into the other things that we want to do. So this is where open source copilot comes in, right? Look at this phase. It's telling you what to fix. The exact thing that you need to do in this project. Exact thing that you need to do. That is what it's showing you here. So what to do is telling you, oh, then this and this is what to do. Then this is the step to solve that problem. Review the current list of project-based tutorial. Identify the language you already covered. You see, it's telling you everything you need to do this project. All you need to do is to do contribute. But most interestingly, because we understand that the beginners they don't your laptop may not be heavy, it may not be good for you to run these projects, you might be confused and all those things. Code spaces, if you remember in the slide, I included code spaces, and this is where code spaces comes in. It is a tool created by GitHub that helps you code on the internet. Some of these things they are really um they are really working today because of the help of AI and the invention of AI, right? So you can just click get started and then you can get started with doing, contributing to this project. Let's go back here and talk about the last thing, which is jobs copilot, which is the last phase of our building developer career, right? So when we come in here, just like the way we prompted during open source and the way we prompted during course creation, we can come here and say, I am looking for a developer jobs in. So currently I am in Kigali. So let me do Kigali. So I'm looking for um, JavaScript developer jobs in Kigali. I just click enter. It's going to show me jobs, developer jobs that are in Kigali, if there are any. So yeah, you see, Amazut HU, Afric Chronic, these ones, Aircore, Senior Software Engineer, Portugal. So are you seeing, guys? This is happening. Java job, Kigali, Rwanda, right? Which is where I am right now. So let's go to the next phase. This is where it gets interesting. The first phase is where you prompt the AI. The second phase is where it gets interesting. Explore with Copilot. Once you click Explore with Copilot, it's going to analyze that job for you. It's going to look at the description, tell you what you need to do. So, for example, it's telling me that, oh, I need to be strong with Java programming language. Oh, I need to know Java, JavaScript, time leaf, Java, HTML, CSS. I need to know Spring Boot, which is a Java framework. I need to have 5 to 10 years experience for me to get this job. I need to also understand AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Now, guess more interesting. It has matched this job with my GitHub, right? And it's telling me that, oh, that my GitHub, according to my GitHub, I am not qualified to do this job because I don't have a lot of Java projects on my GitHub, right? Now, let's look at other interesting parts. So the name of the company is Africa Chronic, and then it generated a LinkedIn DM that I can send to the CEO or anybody that works at this company. And then I have a cover letter that I can use to write. I mean, this cover letter is personalized, which means if my friend here, or any of my friends here, apply for this same job, they are going to get a different cover letter because it is personalized to me, right? And then I have interview questions. So these are interview questions. Can you explain between Spring and Spring Boot? I wish I know the answer. I will just answer the question, and then you know, I have mock interview. I can even answer with voice, and then I get all these things done. So, guys, I don't want to bore you with doing everything here, but then there are so many things that you can do. Remember when we talked about collaboration, when we talked about building your personal project every month here. You can see this one ended on the 21st of June. We will always populate what we call challenges on this website where you can come and you participate in a challenge and you do all those things, right? I mean, it's very smooth. You can come here, try your hands on these things. This one is talking about building an AI chatbot using using AI, and other things. So you can just come here, view any of this challenge, participate, and then submit. And there are lots of prizes to be won, actually. Lots of prizes. So, guys, let's get back into our slide, right? I mean, we've gone on to show you how you can use Tublian to be able to, you know, go through these phases that we talked about here, these phases that we talked about here, how you can use AI. I mean, there are so many other tools that are doing the same thing. There's one I also have here called Get Pieces. Get Pieces shows you how to deal with open source projects. They have like a co-pilot that you just take the code and put it inside. It shows you what to do and how to contribute to that project using co-pilot. So, guys, I think this is the end of my session. Yeah, we're ending with these quotes. Artificial intelligence, this is not my favorite quote, but this is not my favorite quote, but I love it. Probably because it's coming from the co founder of Coursera. Probably because it's coming from the co founder of Coursera, right? So, it says artificial intelligence is the new electricity. It has the potential to transform every industry and create huge economic value, right? So, the software industry is not exclusive of AI, is not immune to AI. AI is coming and is going to transform this industry. My favorite AI quote is the one that says that developers are not going to extinct, but developers who don't use AI are the ones that are going into extinct. Developers are not coming for your job. If you don't use AI, that is when you're going to lose your job because developers that know how to use AI are probably going to take over your job. Right? Thank you very much, everyone, and I will be around for the question. If you have any question, you can hit me up. If you have any question, you can chat me on Twitter. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, anywhere. Just reach out to me, or you can ask me a question here. I will be around to take your questions. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy the rest of the sessions today. Yeah. Bye bye.